Science is an organized way of gathering and analyzing evidence about the natural world. The word science also refers to all the scientific knowledge gathered over the years. Scientists deal only with the natural world. They collect information in an orderly way, looking for patterns and connections among events, and propose explanations that are based on evidence, not belief. One goal of science is to provide natural explanations for events in the natural world. It also aims to use those explanations to understand patterns in nature and to make useful predictions about natural events.
Scientific methodology. Scientific methodology involves observing and asking questions, inferring and making hypotheses, designing controlled experiments, collecting and analyzing data, and drawing conclusions. Scientific investigations begin with observation, that is, the act of noticing and describing events and processes in a careful and orderly way. Then, scientists infer a possible explanation. An inference is a logical interpretation based on what scientists already know. An inference combined with creativity form a hypothesis, that is, a scientific explanation for a set of observations that can be tested in ways to reject it or support it. To test a hypothesis, it is needed to design a controlled experiment. These experiments are the ones that test only one variable at a time. These experiments control only one variable at a time to have more exact results. In this experiment, the variable that is changed is called independent variable, and the result of this change is called dependent variable. The two divisions of the experiments are the control group that stays the same and the experimental group that is the one that is where the only variable is changed. Through and after the experiment, scientists collect information. This information is called data, and it can be quantitative or qualitative. Quantitative data is the data that is counted or measured, and qualitative data is just descriptive. It doesn't involve counting nor measuring. After the experiment, and when data is collected, scientists proceed to draw conclusions and decide whether their hypothesis was correct or incorrect.
To be a scientist, you have to accomplish certain attitudes that will make you improve science and make more discoveries. There are four basic scientific attitudes. The first one is curiosity. A scientist needs to be curious. They want to know the truth of what surrounds them. Skepticism. Scientists question existing ideas and hypotheses and refuse to accept explanations without evidence. Open-mindedness. They accept other ideas only with the condition that are based on evidence. And creativity. They need to think creatively to design experiments that yield accurate data. The role of technology. Technology is very useful to perform better experiments and gather more exact data about them. Technology also helps scientists to ask more questions and try to find more answers. Communicating results. Peer review. Before a scientific article is published, it needs to be carefully read by anonymous independent experts in order to be sure that the article is true. This revision is called peer review. Scientific theories. In science, the word theory applies for a well-tested explanation that unifies a broad range of observations and hypotheses, and that enables scientists to make accurate predictions about new situations. Science and society. Using science involves understanding its context in society and its limitations. Science tries to explain the reason of why things happen. That is why pure science only involves natural phenomena and not ethical nor moral viewpoints. Science does not answer the questions of why life exists or what the meaning of life is. If science wanted to answer these questions, it could be affected by bias. That is a particular preference or point of view that is personal rather than scientific, and that is not science. Studying life. The study of life is called biology. This branch of science studies living things and their main characteristics. They are made of basic units called cells. They are based on a universal genetic code. They obtain and use materials and energy. They grow and develop. They reproduce. They respond to their environments. They maintain a stable internal environment and they change over time. Science has 10 big ideas. These ideas are cellular basis of life, information and heredity, matter and energy, growth, development and reproduction, homeostasis, evolution, structure and function, unity and diversity of life, interdependence in nature, and science as a way of knowing. The four fields of biology are biotechnology. The objective of this field is to edit or rewrite genetic code to use it in our favor. Building the tree of life. Scientists are still trying to discover all the animal and vegetal species that have existed. Ecology and evolution of infectious diseases. Understanding the diseases and its adaptations is crucial to safeguard our future. Genomics and molecular biology. The modifications at a molecular level can help us to discover new solutions for diseases. Performing biological investigations. Scientific measurement. Most scientists use the metric system when collecting data and performing experiments. This metric system is the universal metric system. Safety. Each lab has its rules, but the most important is always follow your teacher's instructions.